Hey, welcome back. We have a knife or knives. I cannot remember what I bought from this seller, and it's late and I'm not going to do a ton of research before getting into this one. So it looks like a private sale and I cannot place the name. So let's see what we get here. Not the first time I've gone into one of these videos totally by the seat of my pants, and won't be the last time. For anyone that's going to ask, that's a Demco 80-20.5 with the shark's foot blade. Highly recommendable for things like these utility cuts and package opening, that kind of stuff. So feel free to check it out. That's an aftermarket pocket clip on there. Let's see what we got. All right. Looks like a very well packaged. This particular seller did pass 7th grade science and did well in their Rube Goldberg project. That egg did not crack when they threw it off of the roof. We got layers on layers of insurance here that the knives are not damaged during travel, which I appreciate. There's just some really shocking things that happen when people send expensive knives in some cases, trying to minimize their shipping costs. And I really appreciate when someone goes a little above and beyond. I know which ones. This is what I thought it might be. So yeah, saw a guy that was listing these two Tactile Knife Company knives separately, and I said, hey, would you like to sell both of them? And we struck a little deal, and I was able to buy two knives from this seller. And one of them's one I haven't had before. One of them's another variation of one I have had. So let's start with the one I have not had, because maybe that'll be cool for the channel. So I think that's this one. I'm almost positive, because I should know that box well. So let's go ahead and get it out here. Cool. So this is the Tactile Knife Company Bayer. May look like Bexar or something like that, but it's the Bayer. And these are small folding knives. Interesting, there's like another little lanyard in here. Maybe that's the factory lanyard or something. And this is one that the guy added, I don't know. Small little folding knives, call it a slip joint. A really like characteristic clip point blade, no lock on it. Just sort of like a, gosh, do I even have my locks out here? Where is it? There it is. Has not been getting much love lately, but a competitor to like a Victorinox, a Locks, or something along those lines. So you can kind of compare here if you're familiar with the Locks, which is, I believe this one. I'm not gonna try and quote, but I think that'd be a 84 millimeter variant. So you can see this is quite a bigger knife. And they have a titanium scale, which is super nice. Like, this feels pretty darn nice in hand there. And a Magna Cut blade, which is pretty badass. Now, I mostly feature folding knives that have quick deployment and, one-hand deployment. This is not one of those, but I've also got a lot of Victorinox and others in the channel that would be more comparable to this. And I mean, I didn't buy one of these new for a long time, although they're on sale right now, so you should definitely check it out if you want one. But just because I felt like 200, I think this is new for basically what you can get that for about 20 bucks or something like that, 25 bucks. I didn't really feel like, it's Magna Cut, don't get me wrong, but it's a much bigger blade. But I don't know, like, I didn't really see the point of this so much. Now, there's a lot of people that this is kind of their go-to format for a knife, and I totally get that. That's not my go-to format. I'd be more likely to be seen with something like this that can flip out and do its job and then, flip back in. That's just my style. I've got, a lot of tactile knives, but they're the ones that have a thumb stud or some sort of quick deployment. But I wanted to see what this is about, because there's clearly like a very big following around these tactile slip joints. So I picked up this one and one other variant just to see what they're all about and get my own little take on it. And yeah, it definitely is a pretty knife. Like I'll say I think it's a stone washed blade and the titanium, it all comes together and it's in a nice lightweight package here. Let's even just weigh it really quickly just for fun. Now it has a lanyard on there, so give or take a lanyard and weight here, but 1.82 ounces. Now what's crazy is they also have, and I don't know how limited it is, if it's going to be around for a long time, but they have an Ultim version of this. Same blade, instead of titanium, it's Ultim, and it's 1 ounce. So that's the other one that I got, so I'll be unboxing that one soon here when it arrives. I got that one on their sale, because those are pretty hard to pick up used, I found. There are quite a few of these circulating around. They've been around longer and stuff. But that's almost half the weight, which is insane. Like I saw some post the other day in the Demco Facebook channel, and the question was, Ultim is just plastic, prove me wrong. And I think, you know, if a titanium knife weighs 1.8 ounces and an Ultim knife, the same knife, but an Ultim weighs 1 ounce, you're talking about an 80% weight reduction, and that's not just plastic. You know, that's pretty impressive. So cool knife. I'll be sort of contemplating its place in my collection, frankly. When I get the Ultim one, that's gonna be a fun little comparison, but I gotta think about whether this one sticks around or not, candidly. But I really wanted to get my hands on it and see what it was about and get my impressions of it. My initial impression is it's like kind of it's a very cool knife in a lot of ways, but I'd be more inclined probably, I mean, this is a much harder working blade than the Victorinox, but the Victorinox in less weight, in less size, also has another multi-tool in it. So, I mean, the Victorinox is definitely different. They're definitely different uses, but this would be more my style right now if I'm going to carry this kind of format. Otherwise, I'm going to probably go for a flipper, which brings me to this knife. And this one actually has skiffs in it, which is interesting. I've never had a tactile with skiffs in it, so I was curious about that. And I've never had one of the original Thumbstuds, which came in 20CV. I have only the Magna Cut variants. And so that is a very exciting. I do have the older ones, the XHP flippers, but I don't have a 20C variant of the Thumbstud. So I was very curious to get some eyes on this and see if this version was generally the same or if there were many changes to it. It, at initial impression, looks pretty much the same as my other one, if not exactly the same. I think the hardware even looks the same, whereas the hardware on the XHP flipper is a little different. This looks pretty much the same front and back. The pocket clip is different, so that's a shorter pocket clip here on the 20CV one, so they did change that on the Magna Cut ones. Hardware up here looks the same, whereas on the flipper, the hardware is actually different, where it has screw holes on both sides. On this 20CV variant, you do have, that's a little different. The back stopper looks, I think it's the same size. It almost for a second looked like it might have been a different width or something, but I think it's the same. So really just the pocket clip. The thumb studs are actually a touch different too. So the thumb studs on the 20CV version are kind of a, I don't know if you call it like a bead blasted finish or a stone wash finish. And it's more of a machine finish here on the Magna Cut version. See if I can get some good lighting on that so you can see the difference there. The front sides of them are fairly similar, where they both have those same carve outs, although they're pointed in different directions on these knives. I don't know if that's because they're installed differently. But the carve outs are actually pointed in opposite directions, which is interesting. So you look at that, you can see they're actually rotating. The carve-outs on this one are rotating this way, and on this one they're rotating that way. So that's interesting. The chimping's like slightly different, but mostly the same. I wouldn't say that's a significant difference. And then let's get these blades out, because that's where the biggest difference really comes into play. Now that actually sounded different. So there's a difference in sound. I don't know if that's much louder and like clangier. So yeah, it's a little more muted on the deployment. I don't know why that might be. These are different pieces of hardware. It looks like this one's more of a polished and that one's like kind of dark. So there's a little difference there on the backstop, whatever you call that pin in the back there. Feels like the liner lock and everything is the same. And let's take a look. This one I think was touched up, because that is a different, definitely a non-standard. I think you mentioned that, by the way. I don't think it was like not disclosed or anything. But that doesn't look like the standard finish that I've seen on these. And sorry, my lighting is not killer right now, so it's gonna be a little hard to see these details, but I've generally found there to be a kind of consistent way that they do their edge at Tactile, and this looks like I think you mentioned that in the ad, that this was touched up with like the Spyderco, and it's more of a mirror finish here. Probably a better edge, frankly. Sorry, Tactile, but just telling it like I see it. Not the most consistent. It's not bad, like they're not terrible at it, don't get me wrong, but they're not the most consistent at delivering an edge. So let's take a quick look at this. Well, apparently neither is the person that owned this knife. So one other thing just to point out, CPM 20CV there versus the MagnaCut. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here, or it seems like I can get a slice cut going on, but I cannot get, so I guess Tactile proved me wrong there, because this is definitely a better edge than, I don't know, this paper is just kind of hard actually. I think I got a funky piece of paper. Let me pick one out here that I know is cuttable. I don't know if that's a word. Let's see if I can get this. Okay, so there's the factory edge. No, yeah, it's the factory MagnaCut edge. Yeah, this guy just didn't sharpen his knife terribly well. You can get a nice little slice cut through there, but I'm barely able to push cut through here with this knife. Maybe if I get up towards the tip a little bit, but that's pretty rough, whereas the factory one can for sure push cut right through there. So you know, part of it could be that it has the skiffs in it. That could be part of why the sound was a little different, by the way. I don't know for sure. But let's go ahead and put this guy back and just continue to look at what we got here. Yeah, and that's kind of surprising because it actually looks like a really nice edge on there. And it feels pretty good. I'm kind of surprised it's not been able to push cut through there. I may have to do a little work on that one myself. But glad to have one of the 20CV in the collection. Trying to see if the skiffs make much difference. I don't know why someone would want skiffs on this knife. I never felt like there was a need to change that on the knife. So that's kind of weird to me. I'm just giving a little feel for how it comes out of the detent there. But yeah, it definitely is smooth. Like I give it a very minimal flick there, and I was able to get it open pretty well. So there's that. I'm also just looking at the lockup. The lockup on this one seems a little further over, but nothing to fret about. But a little more purchase that it's getting there than the newer MagnaCut one. So yeah, basically Tactile did the Rockwall flipper. I'm not going to pull it out, but if you watch some of my videos, you know there's the flipper model. Then they did the 20CV Thumbstud. I think they did the flipper in a 20CV also. And then they did the MagnaCut Thumbstud, from my understanding. And then there's been like a million variants of the MagnaCut Thumbstud, like so many custom. In fact, I have one sitting right here on the desk. For instance, here's the one from Knife Joy, which has the dragon scale on it. Just because it's so convenient, I might as well pull it out. And it's really cool. Oops. This one, by the way, came with a really nice detent on it. I'm gonna just reverse flick this out, but really a sweet little detent on it. There are some variations in what I've seen in the detent on these, and this one was really good. If you've watched some of my videos, I got one that didn't have a good detent, and Knife Joy sent me back another, like you would expect from a good website like them. And yeah, this thing's a real sweetie here. So a lot of variants that have come out along the way, though. I've got more than I want to admit of these different variants because I think they're pretty cool. And I don't know how limited they're going to be or not, but there's some of them you just don't want to miss out on. And some of the limited ones that came out early on are fetching some pretty good secondary market prices for the really interesting ones or compelling ones that resonate with people. So when you see them and feel like you can get your hands on them, it's kind of nice to just grab one, you know, new from the factory. So maybe this is a good opportunity too to take this apart and see what's on the inside of these knives. I haven't done that before. And maybe I'll do a video restoring this to the factory bearings or something like that, just to pull one open on the channel and see what is in on the guts. That'd be pretty cool to see what's on the inside of this. So that's it for now. Appreciate you stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.